The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. 28th March 2021. Me. I just returned from the Temple of Horus in the Egyptian city of Edfu. At the beginning of 2019, I came to this temple with a group of 100 people, among whom there were some friends with me. We took a cruise, visiting the temples privately, where the priests and priestesses who still inhabit the temples between 4th and 5th dimensions guided us in our initiation process. But one of the things I remember most about that trip is the number of times I had to apologize to the custodians of each temple. I am. Why? Me. Because many of the people seemed to have no notion of what we were doing, and they often disrespected the task, acting as tourists. Among them, people I believed were on the same page as me. I felt a lot of responsibility, and one of the priests of Edfu pushed me away and said a sentence that broke me into 1,000 pieces. I am. If you do not know how to correctly choose those who will accompany you in the planetary task, perhaps it is that we have not known how to choose well when we look for you for this mission. Me. When I heard this phrase, I gave up. The world fell on me. I believed that the decision had already been made, that I had shown that I was incapable of doing this planetary task. I cried non-stop that day, and I realized I wasn't being consistent about anything. There were only a few months left to start my planetary mission of the I Am, and I was still going around lost. I couldn't help but say over and over again, Shara, 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 sorry, sorry, sorry. Although the priest told me, don't ask me for forgiveness, be responsible and forgive. So I tried to understand that phrase, but it's not always clear to me what it means. Today I met him again between the columns, and I sat next to him, and he reminded me, Eshar, 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 forgive, forgive, forgive. I am. Do you know what forgiveness is? Me. I guess that's what is asked when we do something wrong, and when someone does something wrong to us, we ask for forgiveness. I am. And what is forgiveness? Why do you ask for it? Me. To free myself. I am. So, do you know what it means? Every time you ask for forgiveness or say forgiveness, what are you asking for? Me. I don't know. That is, we usually say sorry, I think, without knowing why. Maybe what we are looking for is to stop feeling guilty, and the word forgiveness encompasses the feeling of guilt. Then it is like letting go of the guilt of something. We ask that the weight of the guilt be removed. I am. Forgive comes from the Latin per, for, and donare, to give. In English it has the same etymology and construction. Forgive, for, and give, dar. When you ask for forgiveness, you are asking the other to let go, to give what he is holding in his hands. And when you forgive, it is you who releases what you cling to with your own hands. That what we cling to is the emotion of pain, weight, anguish, sorrow, sadness, anger, or helplessness that reflects a situation or attitude. When someone hurts us, the energy of pain, complaint, frustration, or anger is awakened in us, and if we do not let go, then we become attached to this emotion, turning it into resentment, part of our cellular information, damaging our body. Forgiveness is the act of letting go of that emotion that is stagnant in us, produced by the attitude of others. Me. Let's see if I understood correctly. When I forgive, I am not letting go of the other of his sorrow, but of myself. Is that it? I am. That's right. Every emotion you feel in your life lives only in you and is fueled by your own perception of the facts. You are the only origin and end of the energy of your being, for all energy is mobilized in you in a toroidal way. What comes out of you comes back to you, and if you don't let it go, if you don't allow the energy to spread, it comes back to you again and again. This does not renew the flow and accumulates tension, so it begins to become a negative charge. But not a charge in the sense of weight, but in a charge in the direction of electrical conductivity. When a sum of negative energies accumulates, there is no balance in the circulation, and this dirties all the filters of the being, accumulating energy that it does not generate. In this way, energy is constantly received and never given. Receive comes from the Latin re and capere, meaning to re-grasp, capture again and again. This accumulates energy, which, if not released, becomes an energy tumor, which will end up being a low emotion, such as anger, rage, anguish, producing attachment, that is, clinging to those emotions, ideas, or attitudes. And in the long term, they can become a disease, something that stops the vital flow completely. Infermo equals from the Latin stopped. In this way, you can understand that it is you who cyclically feeds emotions in relation to what has happened. In order to release tension and allow flow, circulation again, you have to deliver that energy, release what you can from it so that there is mobility, transformation. That energy of excess is there to give to the world, to surrender. When I manage to give this excess energy to the world, to the environment, that's when I'm really forgiving. Me. I understand, because sometimes we tend that the word forgiveness is enough to solve a problem, as if by saying, I forgive you or forgive me, were magic words that when heard from the mouth of the other, solved the conflict, making it disappear like the invocation of a spell. When in reality, what happens is that I do not release the other or me by repeating it in a cultural or mental way, but forgiveness does not become effective until I really give the energy. The question would be, how do I deliver it? I am. You have to let it out, release it, share, talk to the person in question, say what you feel, what happened, talk about it, debate it, and even release the tension by crying, screaming, getting angry, or hitting something hard, breaking something, releasing the tension. Me. But let's see if I understand. Isn't it very unspiritual of us to express anger, cry, show instability? I am. How do you charge your computer's battery? Me. Another of those analogies that I don't know where you're going. I charge it for the current at 220 volts normally, I think. I am. Charging your computer and phone battery allows you to see the light, connect to the world, do everything you do. Me. Yes, I am. Now, instead of plugging in the battery, try sticking your fingers in and charging your heart. Me. I would die. I am. Why? If it is the same energy, very useful for your daily life. Me. Yes, but it's not the problem with electricity, it's its use. I am. Aha! In other words, the problem is not the electric current that transmits electrons, but the irresponsibility of its use. Me. I guess it is. I am. Therefore, you will understand that love and anger, frustration and joy are nothing more than energies which need positive or negative polarities to generate conductivity. For without both, light does not move. You will understand then that emotions, whether they seem bad or good, are energy, simply. And it is the use that you give it that will charge the battery so that you can do your things, or that it will destroy your heart. So don't judge emotion by your inability to use it. Me. Wow. It was clear to me now. I am. A spiritual being has the same energy as a being who does not consider himself spiritual, and therefore both have anger, rage, resentment, love, happiness, fulfillment, and all kinds of emotions. What really differentiates a being, whether spiritual or not, is consciousness or unconsciousness in its use. There are many considered spiritual who do not know how to manage their emotions, and they control their lives because they interpret that to be spiritual, you have to reject hatred or any type of low vibration. And this makes it bigger and more powerful, because they accumulate and never express themselves, growing the reserve of this specific emotion. And there will come a day when it will explode. Thus, in order not to explode, the best remedy is the word. Say what you do not like, what goes wrong, what bothers, what you feel, the points of view. Communicate, express, let go of the stagnant energy that you repress out of fear, cultural, or spirituality. And by letting it go, you will feel more and more softness in the process. no longer needing anger, crying. And you will begin to be more neutral, only if you allow yourself to give, let go, let go. Me. Thus, forgiveness becomes a personal liberation, which, by sharing with others, releases the weight. But how to talk to others about what hurts without carrying the weight through crying, anger? I am. You can do it against a wall, but the effect will be much smaller. You should not be afraid to say what happens to you, because by releasing it at that moment, you improve the interaction with the other person instead of attacking them. If the other feels attacked, or with the weight of the shared, that is, already the inner work of the other, because it affects him, it is because it resonates in his being. You can only take charge of what you feel. The path of freedom from all physical sorrow is forgiveness, which is not to free the other from his error, but to free yourself from the experimentation and pain of the conflict that has arisen. Release the fruit or wait for it. Free yourself from the roots that oppress. Have you forgiven those who offended you? Well, the only one who weighs the burden is you. Me. It's true. Many times I have not forgiven because I still feel the pain inside. I clung to the energy I received, that I accumulated, and in the fear of letting go, of forgetting what happened, I remain tied to every fact and circumstance of pain that I cannot forgive, let go. Beyond the fact that everyone says that I usually forgive very easily those who have hurt me, more than I should, sometimes passing for foolish, I think this was due to the practice of letting go, forgiving in this sense. In practice, I learned to free myself from emotion, however, it remains there. How to differentiate the memory or record of what happened as part of my evolution as a being from the concept of resentment? I am. Resentment is memory that clings to the emotion of what happened. Memory attaches to the information of why it happened. The first lives in constant emotionality, the second in the idea and mentality that seeks reasons and logic. If, when thinking about a fact, the emotion is reborn again, you will know it as resentment. If, when you see a past circumstance, you analyze it understanding the points of view, then it is memory. And the latter helps you evolve, transcending conflicts, while the former only makes you live the same conflict over and over again. Me. This is why, in order not to repeat, it is necessary to forgive, and thus we free ourselves from the cycle. I am. When you ask for forgiveness, remember that you do not ask for it, but by asking for it, you seek to free the other from their sorrow caused by your attitudes. By asking for forgiveness, it is not you who is liberated, but it is you recognizing that you must help the other to free himself from his emotion. When you forgive, remember that it is not you freeing the other from their weight, but freeing you from your sorrow, sharing the emotional energy of what happened with those involved, and thus collaborating in the joint evolution by integrating an experience that may have ended in a mistake. The vital energy arising from the root chakra, the kundalini, is the engine of all energy circuit, and it is from there that the energy emerges or stagnates, where what is received is stored or what is forgiven is delivered. There is the energy that anchors the experiences, turning them into the seeds of a fruit. Remember then that the tree must release its fruits, drop or let the seeds fly, so that new plants can grow. Conscious sowing, letting go of seeds to generate something new, is the process of forgiving. Me. Forgiveness is the key to the sowing of conscious and free beings. I am. Take away the cultural and religious weight you have placed on this word, and remember that forgiving and receiving are nothing more than the alternating currents of a wiring in the world's network. If you learn to use them correctly, me, the world will light up. I am. Are you ready to forgive? Me. Yes, I forgive you, for now I know that in this act I forgive myself. I am. And that's how you surrender to eternal freedom. This is how the sowing of light begins.
mahal.